Are you familiar with the NES game of Batman, the 1989 movie? It's a well-made game, and I always kind of wanted some toys of the enemies from that game, since I had so many Batman figures from that movie. So there are these little enemies called a mobile tracker in the game. Just little mini vehicles that kind of had spikes that would hurt you if you touched them. And through the miracle of 3D printing, I have one here now. So naturally we were just looking at a group of pixels for what it was trying to represent in the game. So a little Imagineering had to go down to imagine what it would look like in a 3D space. So this is what a friend of mine came up with their 3D printer. Just taking some of the pixel lines and things and kind of imagining where it would be kind of an inset darker spot or different stripes and pieces that might be three-dimensional on the little vehicle. We do have a bottom wheel as well, since no visible front wheel was showing in the game. And these spikes are removable, so that there are a few different options here. One very, very small, so that nothing is coming out really, or another tall spike, because in the game it kind of pulsated up and down. So if you did want the two spikes fully up, there is that option, but typically you'd have kind of one up, one down, so slightly smaller one here, just kind of to give it that look of the spikes going up and down like in the game. The wheels do turn, but again, this is kind of like a prototype, where I've kind of painted it. There's a little tint of purple to it, just because in the game it appeared purple, just like Batman himself, which is always kind of a weird thing, but I think because they needed black for the backgrounds to make it look like in a dark environment, you couldn't have Batman be black suited in the game. I think the purple is supposed to just represent some darkness that's in the foreground instead of the background darkness. So I'd like to hear what you think this as a 3D representation of that NES 8-bit pixel version of this enemy in the game. Is this what you kind of imagined it to look like in 3D or not? And any improvements you would do? But this is what we kind of came up with design-wise, and I'm pretty happy with it just to be able to sneak it into my Batman figure collection of the time. Even the scale of it was kind of based on the height of Batman in the video game versus the size of the enemy, the mobile tracker. Ugh. So these are the kind of 90s Batman figures I'm talking about. Although this one is black suited, so maybe a more purpley color one might be more fitting. Not the perfect shade, but this is actually a deluxe Batman from this group of toys and toy line from the time of the film and its release. If you're interested in one of these, there's no way for you to acquire it whatsoever. This is the only one. It's the prototype, and I don't know if it's really ever going to be made available at all. So you're really only getting to see it right here, and there's just no way for you to own it. I'm sorry. Definitely love to explore possibly doing some other enemies and things from the game in the future though. If you have any interest in this old 90s toy line, I have a video of this exact deluxe Batman figure here. And I'm kind of going over all the figures and different toys and vehicles of that era. Because that's what I usually do here, show my old collections and get new things to complete those old collections from this time period. Lots of retro action figure stuff. So this is a cool retro bit from a retro game to go with the retro toy line as well. We didn't have video game toys too much back in the day. So hopefully I'll get to see you in the next video.